The great white shark is the sea's ultimate predator. His powerful body, perfected for killing by 63 million years of evolution, averages between 16 and 21 feet in length and weighs in at well over a ton. With its immense size and 10 rows of razor-sharp teeth lining its jaws, the great white is more than a match for any seagoing creature unfortunate enough to cross its path.
I just couldn't believe that there was a shark there.
It tried to pry its jaws open.
It had me in its jaws along with my surfboard. If I was supposed to die, I would have died.
These shark attack victims were lucky, for despite a brief scare and more permanent scars, they are great white encounter survivors, commonly associated in a growing club who have lived the nightmare of a great white attack. Why the upswing in great white attacks on humans? The theories are numerous, but experts agree the most obvious reason is purely mathematical. More people in the waters where great whites normally feed equals more attacks. Surprisingly, most great white attacks are non-fatal, consisting of a single bite, usually to the victim's limbs. That single bite usually results in injuries that in many cases could have easily been much worse, coming from a fish with jaws capable of biting a full-grown elephant seal in half. Surfing, a sport that has boomed in popularity in recent years, has also recently become the water-related activity most often associated with shark attacks. And in the U.S., no place is more notorious for great white attacks on surfers than the North Pacific coast from California's Point Conception to the Canadian border. Here, 23 surfers have been mauled by the ever-hungry fish. Alarmingly for the surfers, 15 of those attacks have occurred since 1980. Shark behavior researchers believe that surfers are often viewed as a potential meal for great whites because of their resemblance to the white's normal prey of seals, sea otters, and sea lions. Dr. Don Nelson explains.
When people are hit by white sharks, it really appears that they are being preyed upon by the white shark. When they are struck, rarely does the victim see the shark coming, meaning that the white shark is probably stalking the person to some degree, striking from below and behind. It looks like the white shark is hitting people in an effort to feed on them.
Still, die-hard surfers unhesitatingly return to the scene of previous attacks, risking an unplanned meeting with this voracious predator.
I'm gonna surf anyways, no matter what. I mean, we know that there's sharks out here anyway, so.
You know, if you love the surf, it's not gonna stop you from going out. I mean, you know, you'll think about it a couple seconds and then just shrug it off.
It's their ocean. We're just visiting, so we're careful. We look around.
Like their surface counterparts, divers too face the risk of sharks each time they enter the water. Spear fishermen and abalone divers face increased risk as they search for their catch among the rocks and coral heads. In Australia, where abalone diving is a way of life for many, the incidence of great white attacks on humans is high, with many being fatal. Jim Ellis is an exceptional diver who invented and developed a mobile cage to combat the shark threat that was affecting his production of abalone. Until two of his fellow divers were killed by white sharks, Jim, like many others, always believed that divers working along the bottom were of little interest to sharks. Rather than give up his abalone business due to the presence of sharks, Jim invented this remarkable cage powered by a compressed air motor. It has proved highly successful, enabling him to work in water once considered too dangerous because of poor visibility, and relieving the diver of strenuous physical effort, allowing the total concentration needed to spot and harvest the abalone. While the great white may be putting some out of business in southern Australia, others are finding that leading white shark viewing expeditions is a prosperous vocation in its own right. Rodney Fox, twice the Australian spearfishing champion as a youth, was brutally attacked by a white shark during a competition in 1963. Despite injuries that nearly cost him his life, Rodney holds no animosity towards the vicious predator, whom he has grown to respect and admire over the years. Today, a fully recovered Rodney leads scientists and filmmakers on expeditions to meet the great white. But no expedition is ever complete without Rodney's hair-raising account of his own great white encounter.
It was in the 1963 spearfishing championships in South Australia that I was badly bitten by the shark. I was swimming off the coast, about 100 yards offshore, and there were 40 divers, had speared many, many fish, and there was lots of blood in the water. Nobody had seen any sharks all day, and I dived down to the bottom, and I saw a fish I was about to spear, and all of a sudden a great big thump and crash into my side as a shark hit me and hurled me through the water. I stuck my fingers in its eyes to try and make it let go, and I pushed off with my hand and it let go. My hand disappeared in its mouth and I had many stitches in my hand, and I quickly grabbed the shark around the chest and the back, holding on very tight so that it could not bite me. I ran out of air as I was only snorkeling at the time, so I quickly pushed off and headed to the surface. As I got to the surface, I took one look down and this great big shark with its big teeth and head came up towards me, coming up and up and up. I was very scared because it was first, I had nothing to protect myself with. So I kicked at the shark as hard as I could with my foot, as hard to try and kick it away, and the shark turned and grabbed a buoy that I was towing behind me, and it started to swim away and it towed me through the water, and I was turning, and I could not get loose. I flicked my quick release belt, but it could not find the catch anywhere. And after a little while of turning underwater, the cord snapped and it released me and the shark swam away and I drifted up to the surface.
Young and strong, Rodney resumed his career within a year of the attack. Underwater filmmaker John McKenney has spent most of his adult life diving in shark-infested waters, documenting the behavior of these mysterious creatures. John is joined on his adventures by Noreen, his wife and partner in filmmaking. Together, their encounters with sharks have been numerous, and at least so far, without injury.
I'm not ever afraid, really, of being attacked. I'm more afraid of Noreen being attacked underwater. I think that by having this large camera in my hand, it's sort of a sense of security, although I know it's not really great security, because if a shark like a great white shark wanted me, he could just, he could bend or break my arms, knock the camera right out of it and have me if he wanted to. With experience comes the ability to do a better job as far as not being attacked by a shark. You have a better idea of the limits you can push, how close you can get to a shark, when it's time to get out of the water. You get sort of an insight as to what's going on, although you really never completely understand sharks, because at the last minute you can be thinking one thing that they're thinking, and that's not it at all. They could turn on you in an instant. So it's something you don't want to take them for granted. You want to still be as cautious as possible, but avoiding a shark attack, I think you edge your bet by having more experience in diving with them.
Because of its great size and bone-crushing jaws, the great white is considered the ocean's apex predator. This king of the sea rules the deep without any known enemies. But the high-profile predator is seldom seen by man without the lure of extensive baiting. Due to the large seal population, the rocky coast of South Australia is a favorite great white hunting ground. By baiting or chumming these waters, expedition leaders like Rodney Fox are able to draw the sharks in close. The chum mixture, or burley as it's sometimes called, is a potent combination of animal blood and fish entrails. When ladled overboard, the burley forms an oily slick that spreads out down current from the boat, creating an odor path that is very attractive to hungry whites. Scientists believe the whites have excellent vision and hearing used in the pursuit of prey, but it's the shark's sensitive snout that allows it to smell out its meals from long distances, perhaps more than a mile. When the shark arrives, the presence of boats, cages, bait, and blood triggers sensory overload, confusing the animal, and often resulting in indiscriminate biting and the well-publicized feeding frenzy.
The general public perception of the white shark as this large, dangerous animal comes almost entirely from these baited situations. That's about the only way you can put yourself in position to see a white shark up close, is to go out and bait in certain areas, namely a particular spot in South Australia seems to be the best.
Despite the presence of chum and bait in the water, a great white encounter captured on film yields new and valuable insight into the shark's behavior.
The difference I found in filming a white shark compared to other sharks was watching the white shark. Here's an animal that can devour you. It can literally bite you in half, tear you limb from limb, and spit you out if he wants to, compared to a gray reef shark or another smaller shark, a white-tip shark. These guys could cause a lot of damage. They could cut you up pretty bad, but the big guy, the white shark, he could really take care of you.
Some of the rarest and most spectacular great white behavior ever documented on film occurred several years ago in South Australia, when a camera crew happened upon several whites feeding on sperm whale carcasses.
It's amazing that how often a white shark seems to show up when there's a dead whale floating around there for days at a time. This has happened back east some years ago, and people actually studied that shark and putting transmitters on it. It's happened up in Northern California at least a few times, and it lends to the theory advanced by a scientist back east that possibly in some areas the white shark might get a significant portion of its food needs from scavenging large whales at very long intervals, really. It might be that a solid meal of whale blubber and flesh might last for weeks or even months. most of the whales that die, and they all die just like every other animal does, sooner or later, sink to the bottom. Whale falls, they're called, and sharks and other things will eventually consume them. Just what percentage of the food this makes for white sharks, or even the other deep water sharks like six-gills, we just don't know yet. But it's a very intriguing question.
For hundreds of years, man's irrational fear of the sea and the creatures who inhabit it has appeared in art. These works from earlier centuries reflect a marine world populated with monsters and strange creatures. By the end of the 18th century, the image of sharks and brutal attacks struck terror in the hearts of sailors and forged the image of sharks as the darkest fear of man. In the 19th century, the increase in commercial shipping resulted in a larger number of accidents and subsequent attacks. Attacks that garnered the shark headlines in the graphic press of the time as a relentless executioner of the shipwreck. The irrational fears of the past persist even today with those who would advocate mass slaughter of this dangerous but necessary predator. The indiscriminate killing of any predator can be detrimental to nature's delicate balance, and this is especially true in the case of the white shark. Scientists agree the white's role in controlling the seal and sea lion populations is very important to fishermen who compete with the protected mammals for fish. While the dolphins and whales have been protected by laws, the great white, mired with an image problem since it became a box office smash, receives little public sympathy. Here in South Australia, this young male becomes entangled in fishermen's nets and dies a slow death on the beach. For the fishermen, their regular catch of the day becomes secondary to this hapless monster whose jaws and teeth will bring a small fortune from souvenir collectors.
I think the white shark, being a large, magnificent animal, the largest predatory fish in the ocean today, sort of a pinnacle of evolution as alive today, certainly deserves to be conserved. The benefit people get from being able to watch this animal in action as an example of what evolved on this planet, I think, has got tremendous value. Now, of course, we should do everything we can to make it safer for people to be in the presence of these animals. That's fully justified. And research on certain protective or repellent methods, preferably those that are non-lethal to the animal, or especially studies about simply the habits and the behaviors of these animals that would allow us to know when it's dangerous and when it's not dangerous to be out there with them.
Pretty incredible, huh?
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Were you afraid?
No,
Now,
actually, I
underwater
didn't feel
filmmaker John McKenney, along with his wife Noreen, faces his biggest challenge as he travels to Australia to film the often elusive but always dangerous great white shark in an effort to unravel some of the mystique shrouding this killer of the deep. 500 pounds of tuna, plus gallons of dried and fresh animal blood, must be loaded on Rodney Fox's ship, the Faley, before the McKenneys can begin their journey to film the white shark. These strong-smelling ingredients will be converted to chum once the 10-day trip begins from here at Port Lincoln in South Australia. 3 reinforced steel cages, each capable of holding 4 people, are loaded next. Filming the white shark underwater with the protection of the cages is dangerous. Filming without the cages would be unthinkable.
Down, dive!
With the wind filling its sails, the Phalian crew depart for the nearby Neptune Islands. It's a journey Captain Mark Sinclair has made many times, and more often than not, with the help of a dolphin escort. Barren, rocky, foreboding, but ruggedly beautiful, the Neptune Islands rest 30 miles off the southern Australia coast. It is in this very remote part of the land down under where the white shark can often be found, silently cruising just offshore, waiting for his favorite prey, the seals and sea lions, to enter the water. Because of their underwater agility, seals are not an easy meal for the sharks, who must rely on the element of surprise attack. The whites, as intended by nature, control the seal population by thinning the rookeries of the old, sick, and an occasional unsuspecting pup who leaves the sanctity of the rocks for a first swim. The unfortunate pups are often left alone for much of the day as the mother seals take to the water to feed and replenish their supply of rich, life-giving milk. Back on board ship, the McKennies have been joined by former Cousteau chief diver Bernard Delamotte. Bernard, as he did in many of the Cousteau documentaries of the 70s, will assist John and Noreen in their film by providing not only camera work, but interaction with and understanding of the animals they will encounter. The McKennies, who have been busy filming on deck, decide to dispatch Bernard to the island. There, they hope to study and film the seals, the white's primary food source, in an effort to learn more about the shark's feeding habits. Bernard is joined by the local lighthouse keeper, Peter Marchant. Peter has made it his life's work to study and keep watch over the seal rookery. As the dinghy reaches shore, Peter and Bernard spot the first evidence of great white presence in the area. Several of the seals lounging on the rocks, including the mother of this nursing pup, wear the wounds of great white encounters. This particular bite on the seal's hindquarters appears to be the work of a very large shark. Had the mother been taken by the shark, the orphaned pup's chance for survival would have been slim at best. Bernard and Peter move cautiously along the rocks in order to get a closer look at the pups, who are wary of the two-legged strangers. The pups, as often happens when the mothers are at sea, have banded together for safety. Peter Marchant expresses his concern that the increased number of white sharks which are drawn to the area by chumming or burleying will increase the numbers of seals killed.
Peter, let me know what do you think about the action of the white shark around this island with all the seals and the pup and the mother, and what can happen to them?
Well, the main concern we have with the white sharks being attracted in many numbers by burleying is that there's a lot more pups here than mothers, and the mothers are all out feeding.
Yeah.
And they've got to come back here to these pups. And if people are burleying, they've got to swim through the water with the burley, and we're not quite sure if they like the blood. Mm-hmm. And they've also got to run the gauntlet of the shark, which are being attracted in. And if a shark does take a seal, it not only means that the mother dies, but the pup will die of starvation as well.
With the mother seal still out feeding, Bernard observes the pups up close. By staying low with slow, deliberate movements, he is able to come within inches of the shy juveniles. But they show little or no fear of his presence. He wonders if the young seals inherit their fear of white sharks, or is it a trait they must learn from early encounters with their most tenacious predator? While the crew prepares the ship for the first shark dive, Bernard decides to go underwater to film the seals in the marine environment and to look for more clues of the white's presence. Although the water is clear, Bernard swims cautiously through the tall grass, knowing full well that with chumming beginning just offshore, a great white could be lurking nearby. Bernard knows a surprise encounter with the massive shark without the protection of a cage could be fatal. Suddenly, as his camera probes through the grass, Bernard finds a seal hiding in a mossy bed. As Bernard films the playful seals, he also watches them with a wary eye, looking for any sign of anxiety that might indicate a great white in the vicinity. Bernard's attention is suddenly diverted as a stingray glides along the bottom. With the presence of the stingray, also a favorite food of the white shark, Bernard is convinced a great white encounter is imminent. Bernard decides to move to a protected cove where he discovers a dead seal on shore. Bernard's guess is that the seal was wounded by a shark, crawled ashore, and died. But with the presence of a big bull seal near the body, he is unable to get close enough to see the effects of the bites. As the seals finally head out to sea, Bernard's close-up view of the seal corpse confirms his suspicions as the work of a great white. Back on the boat, the crew has been chumming for several hours without any luck. Perhaps the most anxious member of the crew is John McKenney's wife, Noreen, who will be photographing the great whites from the cages for the first time.
I do worry occasionally about Noreen being in danger while we're filming. She doesn't like to hear that because that means that she gets asked to get out of the water sometimes, but it's a lot to think about. You're looking through the viewfinder and you've got filming on your mind, and on the other hand you've got your wife on your mind worrying, well, is she okay, is she safe? And sometimes it gets to be a little bit much to worry about both things.
The slick created by the chumming now extends far from the ship, but still there is no sign of the sharks. The surprising lack of great whites in this, an area where they are most prolific, is an indication to all on board just how rare encounters with these great predators have become. Expedition leader Rodney Fox and his crew know there is nothing to do now but patiently wait and scan the seas for any signs of the shark. Perhaps tomorrow they will have their great white encounter. For 2 days, the crew of the Phaley waits for the great white to appear. Then, on day 3, to the delight of the entire crew, a shark finally arrives. Bernard Delamotte will be first in the water. Although Bernard has been diving for over 30 years in all of the oceans, this will be his first great white encounter. The water is clear blue, despite the bloody red chum cloud that floats at the surface. From the blue vastness, a massive body emerges, passing through a cloud of fish in a slow, deliberate swim. A second diver carrying lights for filming joins Bernard as the shark makes another pass. Bernard estimates this young male to be 14 feet. Then, from the other direction, a second, larger shark appears. This 16-foot male, highly stimulated by the presence of chum, divers, and cages in the water, aggressively bites at everything in his path, providing Bernard with a dramatic close-up. With 3 sharks now in the water and the action intensifying, Bernard wisely retreats to the safety of the cage. Meanwhile, in the adjoining cage, John McKenney begins rolling his 16mm camera to capture some incredible close-ups with only the lens between him and the shark.
Having a white shark inches away from you, especially when I was in the doorway with it open and the camera hanging out, and seeing that animal come within, 2 inches of the front of my camera, that was an adrenaline rush. That was what I can only imagine it would be like jumping out of a plane, or just such an adrenaline pump. It was such an incredible feeling that I could feel the hair on the back of my neck standing up on end underwater.
Delighted by their initial encounter, Bernard and the McKenneys return to the surface to reload cameras and recount their experiences.
That's a wonderful animal.
Beautiful, eh, Warren?
Oh, beautiful.
Huge.
Jeez. So close to the cage, so many teeth.
Wonderful
rows
smile.
and rows, yes.
Everywhere you look,
Yeah?
everywhere you look, there's teeth. Coming at the cage, coming at the camera. Huh? You're hanging out there a couple times. I think he almost got you, huh? Pretty close.
My camera, not me.
Yeah, all right. Incredible. Beautiful. I couldn't believe. He must have, what, 15, 14,
Yeah,
15 feet?
Well, there was about
He's
three
this big
different
around?
ones.
3?
Yeah,
You counted 3?
Line, colors, you know.
It's beautiful. Incredible. Nothing like it.
And when you take the bite,
Nothing like it. Let's go back.
let's
Yeah?
go back.
All right.
Yeah.
It's coming down. Okay, son.
With their initial concerns subsiding, the divers are now able to truly appreciate the awesome spectacle of a perfect predator who has ruled the seas virtually unchanged for millions of years. With little rest, John and Bernard continue to film the white shark's frenzied activity. For now, conditions are perfect for filming, and the sharks are willing subjects, but the filmmakers realize the unpredictable predator's brief visit could end at any moment. The soaring popularity of white shark expeditions, paired with a growing public interest in protecting this much maligned predator, keep Rodney Fox and his ship at sea much of the year. Rodney's own interest in conserving the sharks is his primary motivation for leading the expeditions.
Rene, I think you enjoy to show that white shark to your guests.
Yes, it gives me a lot of satisfaction to see the surprise and the look on the people's faces when they see such a beautiful creature. I found that after my shark attack that everybody hated the great white shark and nobody knew very much about it at all. When I tried to read books and find out about it, nobody knew how many young they have, whether there are many. And I'm a little worried that maybe these sharks can be killed and wiped out and nobody seems to care. So I feel it is a bit of my responsibility to try and get people to understand the shark. And so the trips that I organise, the film crews and the marine biologists that come out, all are learning continuously to maybe help the great white shark from becoming extinct.
This shark has really no predator, and his runway is the king of the sea. You really think this shark is in danger?
I think in the big picture we have to take a look at it. The numbers that are around are very limited. It hasn't been proven that they are not. I think they're in danger and they are worthy of being protected. But it's very difficult because it's easy to have the nice furry sea lions and the seals protected. Everybody loves them.
Yeah, like
But
teddy
it's
bear.
very hard to get the great white shark. Nobody wants to take much interest in them. They would rather say, protect them in America, protect them in Africa, let's kill them all off here because we don't want them. But slowly it is changing and people are starting to realize that we can't just kill off for the sake of fear.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
Beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
One big mean fish.
Wow.
Huh?
See that?
Incredible. All right.
You see those fish?
He kept coming. He kept coming and coming at the cage.
You scared of anything?
Nothing.
It's beautiful. You can scare it, you know.
Suddenly, the great whites lose interest in the bait and seem to focus their attention on the larger prey behind the bars of the floating cages. Unable to find a way to get at the divers, the frustrated shark retreats to the smaller, more readily accessible fare.
Came into I saw him out there in the blue, and he came in at the camera. All of a sudden, I feel him hit the dome of the camera, and it was like I felt this frustration in him that he couldn't do anything. He was just sort of like, well, and he just slowly turned away. And I also noticed that whenever I looked at him, they would tend to swim by the camera. Whereas if I would look away for a second, he would come in a lot closer to the camera. Did you feel that way at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Were you afraid under there?
No, I wasn't afraid at all.
Yeah?
There was no fear.
Yeah? You think you got some good pictures?
Oh, definitely. At one point, I had the camera up to the dome, or to the cage, and didn't realize how close I was or how close he was. And all of a sudden, I took my camera down like this, and he was basically 2 feet away from me.
Yeah. I'll tell you, if he wanted to get you, if he wanted you, there were times I felt like if he wanted me, he could have just come through the door. I mean, you can imagine, 2,000 pounds of animal thrashing around inside that cage with you inside there. It'd be like you'd be like inside a blender with this thing in there.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's a great feeling.
Incredible.
Like its airborne neighbor, the gull, the great white shark shares the sea with fish, mammals, birds, and reptiles, forming a perfect order designed by nature and refined through 100 million years of evolution. Long before the hands of man tilted the delicate balance of the sea through pollution and overfishing, this apex predator was master and monarch of all he surveyed. Today, in the minds of John, Noreen, Bernard, Rodney, and all others who've experienced a great white encounter, this shark still swims unchallenged as king of the sea.